Welcome to your quiet space at English Speaking Corner. We are going to run a simulation for the scariest moment in any second language. Picture this. You are walking down the hall at work. Suddenly, your boss stops you. He asks, "Hey, do you think we should change the project deadline?" Your mind goes blank. Complete silence. Your heart starts racing.
I used to hate this feeling. I would just say, and look at my shoes because I was terrified of saying the wrong thing and looking stupid.
You do not need to answer instantly. You just need to buy time. Today, we practice 3 phrases that stop the clock, so you never have to freeze again.
That moment of freezing is something we have all felt. It is not just about English skills. It is about pressure. When someone asks you a question unexpectedly, your brain has to do 2 things at once. First, you have to understand the question. Second, you have to formulate an answer. And third, you have to translate that answer into English. That is a lot of work for your brain to do in 1 second.
Exactly, Mark. It is too much. And because it is too much, your brain just stops. You freeze, you stare at the person, and the silence feels very long and very awkward. The person waiting for your answer starts to look confused, and that makes you feel even more nervous.
I remember a specific time this happened to me. I was in a meeting with a client. I was prepared for the meeting. I had my notes. I felt good. But then, right at the end, the client asked me a question about a completely different topic. He asked about the budget for next year. I had not looked at the budget in months. I just froze. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. I felt my face getting hot. It was terrible.
That physical reaction is so common. The heat in your face, the racing heart. It happens because your brain thinks you are in danger. But today, we are going to learn a secret. You do not have to answer immediately. In fact, answering immediately is often a mistake.
That is right. Think about how native speakers talk. When you ask a native speaker a difficult question, do they answer in 1 millisecond? Usually no. They take a moment. They pause. They look away. They say something to fill the silence while they think.
We call these buffer phrases. A buffer is something that softens a shock. In conversation, a buffer phrase protects you from the silence. It buys you time. It gives your brain 3, 4, or even 5 extra seconds to find the right words. And the best part is, you sound calm and professional while you say them.
So instead of standing there in silence, looking panic-stricken, you are speaking. You are in control. The other person hears you speaking English, so they relax. They know you understood the question. They are happy to wait for your answer because you are already talking to them.
Today, we are going to master 3 specific techniques to buy time. We'll start with the easiest one, which we call the bridge. Then we'll move to the thinking sound. And finally, the honest delay. And at the end of this episode, we'll do a simulation where Mark will ask you questions, and you have to use these tools to survive the pressure.
Let's start with the bridge. This is my favorite one because it is so polite. The goal of the bridge is to acknowledge the question before you answer it. It builds a bridge between their question and your answer.
Exactly. When someone asks you something difficult, your first instinct is to panic. But with the bridge, your first instinct should be to compliment the question. It makes the other person feel good, and it gives you a few seconds to breathe.
Here's a classic example. The boss asks, "Why are sales down this month?" That is a scary question. Instead of freezing, you can say, "That is a really important question."
Let's analyze that. That is a really important question. It takes about 2 seconds to say. In those 2 seconds, your brain can start looking for the answer. But to the boss, you sound thoughtful. You sound like you are taking his concerns seriously.
Let's practice this one. We'll say it slowly and clearly. Listen to the rhythm and then repeat it during the pause. That is a really important question.
That is a really important question.
One more time. Imagine the boss is looking at you. You are calm. That is a really important question.
Great. Now let's try a variation. Sometimes the question isn't important, but it is interesting. Maybe a friend asks you, "What do you think about the new movie?" You haven't decided yet. You need time to think. So you say, "That is an interesting point."
Listen to the intonation there. It goes up and down gently. That is an interesting point. Repeat after us.
That is an interesting point.
That is an interesting point.
There is one more phrase in the bridge category that I love. It works perfectly when you are surprised. If someone asks you something you did not expect, you can say, "I'm glad you asked that."
This one is powerful. It turns a scary moment into a positive moment. I am glad you asked that. It implies that you have a good answer coming, even if you are still searching for it in your head.
Let's try it. I am glad you asked that.
I am glad you asked that.
Now, let's put this into a mini scene. Mark, I want you to be the manager. Stop me in the hallway and ask me a difficult question. I will show everyone how the bridge works in action.
Okay, I'm the manager. I see you walking to the coffee machine. Hey, Anna, do you think we have enough budget to hire a new designer next month?
That is a really important question. I was just looking at the budget yesterday.
Did you hear that? The pause was natural. She didn't freeze. She said, that is a really important question. It gave her time to remember if we have the budget or not.
And I felt much calmer. I didn't feel the need to rush. I had those 2 seconds to organize my thoughts.
But Anna, what happens if the question isn't deep or important? What if it is just a simple question, but I still forget the vocabulary? For example, if someone asks, where is the restaurant? And I forget the street name, I can't say, that is a really important question. That would sound weird.
You are absolutely right. The bridge is for opinions or big topics. For everyday memory lapses, we need the second technique, the thinking vocalization.
This is about replacing the panic sound with the thinking sound. In many languages, when we don't know what to say, we make a sound like or eh.
And while that is natural, in English, a long can sound like you are confused or lost. It signals that you are struggling. We want to replace with actual English words that mean I'm thinking.
The best phrase for this is, let me see.
It is so simple, but it is magic. Let me see. It literally means let me check my mental files. But the key is how you say it. You cannot say it quickly. If you say, let me see, really fast, you buy 0 time.
Right, you have to stretch it out. You have to say it slowly like you were looking at a menu in a restaurant. Let me see.
Listen to that length. Mark took almost 3 seconds to say 3 short words. Let me see. Let's practice that. Do not rush. Stretch the vowels.
Let me see.
Let me see.
Another great variation is, let me think about that for a second.
This one is very direct. You are telling the person, I am thinking. Wait for me. But it's polite. Let me think about that for a second.
Let's shadow that. Pay attention to the rhythm. It's not flat. It flows. Let me think about that for a second.
Let me think about that for a second.
I use this one all the time, even in my native language. Sometimes I just need to remember a name or a date. I say, let me think about that exact date. It stops the other person from interrupting me.
That is a key point, Mark. When you are silent, people try to help you. They interrupt you, they try to guess what you want to say. That breaks your concentration. But if you are making a thinking sound, like, let me see, or let me think, they stay quiet. They wait for you. You hold the floor.
Let's try a mini scene with this one. Anna, I will ask you a simple question where you might forget the detail. Use the thinking vocalization.
I am ready.
Hey, Anna, what time does the train to the airport leave tomorrow?
Let me see. I think it is at 10:30.
Perfect. That let me see was slow and thoughtful. It made you look calm, not forgetful.
It gave me just enough time to visualize the ticket in my head.
Before we move to the third technique, which is the most professional one, I want to take a brief pause. If you are enjoying this calm way of learning and you want to build this kind of automatic confidence in your daily life, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We create these episodes to be your safe practice space so you can make mistakes here with us and not out there in the high-pressure world.
Thank you for being here with us. Now, let's talk about the third technique, the honest delay.
This is the advanced level. This is for when you are at work or dealing with something serious like a bank, a landlord, or a professor. Sometimes the problem isn't that you forgot a word. The problem is that you simply do not know the answer right now.
And this is where many learners panic. They feel like they must answer. They think if I don't answer, they will think my English is bad, or they will think I am not good at my job. So they try to guess the answer and they make mistakes.
The honest delay solves this. It's a phrase that says, I don't know right now, but I will find out. It shows you are responsible.
The key phrase here is, let me check my notes.
Even if you don't have notes, you could be checking your phone, your email, or just your memory. Let me check my notes sounds incredibly professional. It implies you want to be accurate.
Imagine the scenario. Your boss asks, what is the exact sales figure for last week? You don't know. Do not guess. Say, I want to give you the exact number, so let me check my notes.
That is a power move. I want to give you the exact number. That explains why you are delaying. You are delaying because you care about quality.
Let's practice that first part. I want to give you the exact number.
I want to give you the exact number.
Now the second part. so let me check my notes.
So let me check my notes.
Now put it together. This is a long sentence, so take a deep breath. You are calm, you are a professional. I want to give you the exact number, so let me check my notes.
I want to give you the exact number, so let me check my notes.
Another version of this, if you are not at work, is simply, I need to double check that.
Double check is a great verb. It means to check again to be sure. I need to double check that. It is perfect for making plans with friends. Are you free on Friday? I need to double check that.
Let's shadow that one. It is short and useful. I need to double check that.
I need to double check that.
So we have our three tools. The bridge, that is a really important question. The thinking vocalization, let me see. And the honest delay, I need to double check that.
Now we are going to do something we haven't done before. We are going to build a simulator.
This is the most important part of the episode. We are going to put you in the scene. Mark is going to act as different people, your boss, your friend, a stranger. He will ask you a question.
There will be a moment of silence after I ask the question. In that silence, I do not want you to answer the question. I want you to use a buffer phrase.
This is difficult because your brain wants to answer. Resist that urge. Your only job right now is to buy time. Pick any of the phrases we learned.
Are you ready? Let's start with a work scenario. You are in a meeting. Everyone is looking at you. So, what do you think is the biggest risk for this project? Did you do it? Did you say, that is a really important question? Or maybe, let me think about that for a second. If you did, good. You survived the panic.
Let's try another one. This is a casual setting. We are friends deciding where to eat dinner.
Hey, is that new Italian place open on Mondays?
How did that feel? You probably didn't know the answer, so the best phrase was likely, let me see, or I need to double check that.
Let's try a harder one. This is a situation where you might feel emotional pressure. You are at a job interview. The interviewer looks at your resume and looks up at you. Can you describe a time when you failed at something? That is a scary question. If you answered immediately, you might have stumbled. But if you said, that is an interesting question, or I am glad you asked that, you gave yourself a moment to choose a good story.
Let's do one more. This is a random stranger on the street. They look confused and stop you.
Excuse me, do you know if the bus to the city center stops here?
Let me see is perfect here, or I need to double check that.
The beauty of this technique is that it works for almost everything. You don't need to know what the question will be. You just need to know your buffer phrases. It is like having a shield. No matter what they throw at you, you can block the initial impact with your shield.
And once you block that initial impact, your brain wakes up. The panic goes away. You realize, oh, I understand the question, I know the answer, and then you can speak normally.
I want to add one small detail about body language while you do this. When you use a buffer phrase, try to nod your head slowly.
Yes, nodding helps. It shows you are engaged. If you freeze and stare with wide eyes, you look terrified. But if you nod slowly and say, let me see, you look like a philosopher. You look like you are thinking deep thoughts.
It changes the way people perceive you. And more importantly, it changes the way you perceive yourself. You stop feeling like a victim of the language, and you start feeling like the driver.
We have covered a lot today. We talked about why we freeze. It's just biology, not a lack of skill. We learned the bridge for big questions. We learned the thinking vocalization for filling silence. And we learned the honest delay for when we need to check facts.
It takes practice to make this automatic. Right now, you might feel a bit mechanical saying these phrases. That's okay.
Think of it like learning to drive a car. At first, you have to think about the brake and the gas pedal. It feels clunky. But after a while, you just drive. These phrases are your brake pedal. You need to practice pressing the brake so you can stop the panic.
I have a challenge for you for the next 24 hours. And this challenge is interesting because you can do it in English, or you can even try it in your native language just to feel the power of it.
Here's the challenge. For the next day, whenever someone asks you a question, any question, wait exactly 2 seconds before you answer.
Count it in your head. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, then answer. Or use one of our phrases. Let me see.
You will feel a strong urge to speak instantly. Fight that urge. Feel the silence. Get comfortable with it. Watch the other person's face. You will see that they are not impatient. They are just waiting.
Once you realize that the silence does not kill you, you will be free. You will never fear the brain freeze again because you know how to handle it.
You have the tools now. You don't need to be fast to be smart. You just need to be calm.
Thanks for practicing with us today. Keep shadowing, keep pausing, and trust yourself.
We will see you in the next episode for more calm, confident speaking. Goodbye for now.